Hi everybody, this is my third attempt at making this video today. Everything keeps going wrong, but I'm not going to give up. We are talking, today is day 9 of the fast of Daniel, and we are talking about the fruit of goodness, which is a beautiful fruit that is often overlooked. It's kind of run over. Everyone knows about love, joy, peace. Goodness is kind of like, I'm a good person. In fact, if you took a survey of people out on the street and asked, what do you consider yourself to be? Are you a good person or are you evil? I guarantee you 99% of the people are going to say that they're good. That anyone who says that they're evil, they're just probably joking. It's just for fun. Everyone thinks they're good. Everyone thinks that when they die, they deserve to go to heaven. Or that if they don't get to go to heaven, it's unfair because they've done so many good things. So in our estimation, doing good is pretty weak. The world has a very low opinion, or low standards, I should say, for what goodness is compared to what God sees as good. So if you think of doing good deeds, what do you think of? Giving money to charity, donating to charity, helping out at a food bank, going to visit someone who's sick in the hospital. Those are good deeds and those are great things to do. In fact, they're important things to do. But is that what the Bible means when it refers to the fruit of goodness? I want to read here real quickly in Acts chapter 10. Peter is talking. He's in Cornelius's house. He's explaining Jesus' mission here on the earth. And in 38, verse 38, Acts 10:38, we get to this part. He's in the middle of his discourse, and he says here, how God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Spirit and with power, who went about doing good and healing all who were oppressed by the devil, for God was with him. So a couple interesting points. There's a lot packed into this. You can easily just zip over this verse and not even notice how packed it is with meaning. So it talks about how God anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Spirit. You've heard my husband preach about Jesus of Nazareth being, referring to Jesus coming from a town of nobodies, of misfits, of rejects. He should have been called Jesus of Bethlehem. Bethlehem was the city of the kings. But Jesus of Nazareth, he chose that to show that he was a nobody. He was a simple man. But we all know he was God and man. He was fully God and he was fully man. And because he was fully man, God the Father anointed Jesus of Nazareth with the Holy Spirit. He baptized Jesus in the Holy Spirit, which is hard to kind of grasp. He was God who needed the baptism of the Holy Spirit. So it says not only did he baptize him with the Holy Spirit and with power, which we also know Jesus referred to the baptism of the Holy Spirit as, I will send power from on high, when he told the disciples to wait in Jerusalem. And then it says here, who went about doing good and healing all who were oppressed by the devil, for God was with him. So if we are limited to our thoughts about doing good as those kind of wimpy ideas of being a do-gooder, a goody two-shoes, just out doing nice acts of charity or whatever, then we're missing the point. What kind of good did Jesus do? It said he was healing all who were oppressed by the devil, for God was with him. This is a little glimpse into what the fruit of goodness is. The fruit of the Holy Spirit. When Jesus did good, he was coming face to face with Satan. He was confronting evil that was at work in people's lives. People were sick. People were oppressed. People were demon-possessed. And what did Jesus do? He came right up to them and he drove out that evil. He confronted that evil. He took dominion over it and he cast it out. What he was doing was he was rescuing those people. He saw that these people weren't sick like many of them were accused of being cursed, accused of being sinners. That's why they were sick. He realized that, okay, yeah, they're all sinners. All of us are sinners. So what's new? The fact is that Satan had taken dominion over them, was taking control of them and crushing their lives. Jesus rescued them from that evil. He confronted those demons, drove them out, and brought healing and wholeness to those people. That was the goodness of Jesus. So when you think of the times that the lepers came to him and he healed them, what were the laws about leprosy in those days? If a leper touched anyone, he could be stoned because leprosy was contagious. The evil, the disease, the curse upon that person would spread out to the other people. It was so contagious that they would contaminate others. That evil would flow out to others. That's why they were forced to live outside the city gates, live in caves and caverns, and have to shout, so many feet away from people, I'm unclean, I'm unclean. They weren't allowed to approach anyone because of the evil that was in them. So what did Jesus do? He wasn't afraid of being touched by them. Instead, he touched them. The law was that they couldn't touch anyone. He reached out his hands. And what did he do? That goodness in him, the power of God in him, flowed out from Jesus and confronted the disease, confronted that evil, and annihilated it. Drove that leprosy out, drove that sickness out. And he rescued those poor people so that they could be whole. So if we think in terms of this, when we think about goodness, this is what God is requiring of us. And this is what needs to be born in us. When we come in contact with evil around us, and all of us are in contact with evil every day, on our jobs, just out and about, taking care of daily errands, we come across evil people, evil situations, evil institutions. We come across evil in our families, people who are full of unbelief, full of a mocking spirit, full of cynicism, that are so blinded by their negativity they can't understand what's right. Our job is to emanate the light and the goodness of God so that they don't affect us. They don't contaminate us, but we affect them. And if they're open enough and willing, that we can drive out those demons, drive out that evil from their life, drive out that disease from their life because of the goodness in us. And that means also that we don't hate anyone. We have no bitterness towards anyone. We carry no grudges because goodness gives us that clear, focused vision of God to see what is evil, what needs to be destroyed, and what is good and what needs to be rescued and loved. So that's why Jesus says, love your enemies. Because your enemies are just puppets. They're being crushed and swallowed up by evil. Our desire is to rescue our enemies from that evil so they stop being selfish, so they stop doing what's wrong, so they can finally find Jesus and salvation. How can we save a person? In church, we're always talking about we are here to save souls, save souls, save souls. Weirdly enough, people's idea of saving souls is giving somebody a flyer, getting a hold of them, dragging them into church, making them sit down and listen to a service, and making them a part of the church activities. That's not saving anybody. What true salvation is seeing in the spiritual realm, seeing the evil that is swallowing up somebody, and you rescue them from that. So that means you don't tolerate evil. Goodness doesn't just put up with evil. Goodness doesn't just say, oh, my poor son, he's so messed up with drugs, and he comes home and he threatens me and he demands me to give him all this money so he can go out and buy more drugs. And I love him so much, and I don't want him to take drugs, but, I don't want him to be angry, so I give him the money. Is that goodness? Is that fighting the evil that is in your son? Or is that tolerating it? Not tolerating him, tolerating it, tolerating that demon. You're feeding, you're enabling demons. You're giving room for demons. You're allowing demons to cause more destruction. That is not goodness. And sadly, there are many mothers that think that, I'm a good mom. I keep bailing out my son. I keep rescuing him. I keep providing for him so that he can keep going out and buying more drugs or more alcohol or whatever. That's not goodness. If you have goodness, you have that discernment. You can see, okay, yes, you love your son. Rescue him from the demons. Rescue him from evil. Fight against the evil in him. And at times, it will require you to do things that people do not like. And they don't like it because they don't see in the spiritual realm. They don't see what's real, but you do. And you know how to fight on their behalf in ways that are wiser than people in this world see. You're not dealing with just the physical realm. You understand the spiritual. Goodness is the power that activates miracles, because you will not tolerate evil, and you know the potential of what good can do, of what God's good can do through you. So I hope I left you with something interesting to think about. That is day 9, and we hope that you come to church, especially this Sunday, because we're going to be entering into the Ark of Noah, right? Talk about fighting for your family, fighting against those demons. Perfect opportunity for you to exercise this gift of goodness, to fight on their behalf. Bring them if you can. All right, that is it. See you tomorrow.